Right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa afdalu salatu wa atammu taslim ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. نويت التعلم وتعليم وتذكر وتذكير ونفع وانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على تمسك بكتاب الله وبسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والدعاء إلى الهدى ودلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى. Right. So today, inshallah, we are going through Surah Al Takathur, which is the Surah number 102 within the Quran. Takathur is translated as like the rivalry in worldly increase, or the yearning to gain wealth from the world. Okay. The surah before this is Surah Al Qari'ah. Okay. Al Qari'atu mal Qari'ah. Okay. And that we're going to go into next time, but effectively it speaks about those people who are going to enter into hellfire. Right? It speaks about the hellfire. Okay. It speaks about the hisab. It speaks about those, فَمَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَهُوَ فِي عِيشَةٍ رَاضِيَةٍ وَمَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ. That person who their scales are heavy, then they will have a life of contentment. And that person whose their scales are light, then they will be subdued to the extreme punishment. Okay? So this surah speaks about those people who will go into the hellfire. This is what it speaks about, those people who will go into the hellfire. Now, this surah and the three surahs before it have a connection. So we have Surah Zilzal, إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا. We have Surah وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبْحًا, okay, Adiyat. We have Surah Al-Qari'ah, okay, which is the one before this, and we have this one, Surah Al Takathur. And these speak about generally the day of judgment and the afterlife. So Surah Zilzal, it's specifically speaking about the akhirah. Surah Adiyah is speaking about the dunya, but those people who will attain the adhab of Allah. Surah Qari'ah speaks about the akhirah. Surah Takathur, this one, speaks about the dunya, the amassing of dunya, and the ultimate result being the displeasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He begins the surah by saying, Alhaakum at-takathur. So alha, this word alha, it has a root meaning of entertainment. Okay, something that entertains. It also has a meaning of when something is like a distraction, something that distracts you from your priorities, something that distracts you from something which should be your focus. That's what ilha is. Okay, so alha. Okay, what has distracted you? What is this purpose of entertainment? At-takathur. At-takathur. Okay. So first of all, like this concept of distraction. Like if you think about like this thing of entertainment, what does entertainment do? Like when do you do entertainment? When you're bored, right? There are things that you should be doing. There are priorities that you've got, but you're not focusing on those priorities, right? So you're getting distracted. That's what entertainment does. Why do you watch TV? You don't have to watch TV. You watch TV because you get bored. You watch TV because you've got nothing better to do. And the reality is you have got something better to do, but then you fill it up with wasting time on, like for example, on entertainment. So that's what al-ha shows. Now, takathur comes from kathra or kathir, which means a lot. But takathur, takathur, the meaning is to compete with one another, to gain loads. So kathir means a lot. Kathra means to have a lot of something. Takathur, so kathara, it means to have an abundant, to fight or to vie or to compete, to have that increase, to have that large amount. Okay. So there are some deeper meanings of takathur. One of the meanings of takathur is a desire to have a lot, to yearn to have a lot. Okay, when you want loads of things, you want loads of worldly things, you want loads of um, uh, things in life. Okay. Another thing is when you're competing, this concept of competition. And we see this a lot of time, like, when it comes to like weddings, or we need to have a better wedding than them, or my car, I need to have a better car than that person, or, even little petty things like kids, like I need to have a better toy than him. Okay. That's what we learn from this concept of takathur. So it's like this kind of like urge to kind of want other things, to want the things of others, to yearn to have, um, to yearn and to compete in having those a large amount of things. That's the thing that has distracted you. Okay, that's the thing that has distracted you. Right. Then he also says, like one of the other things about takathur is that you take pride in having more than others, so you show off. Look, I've got this and I've got that and I've got this and I've got more than you. Okay, when people do that, that's what comes under this word takathur. So takathur has all of these meanings. Okay, now if you look at the translation is like the piling up of worldly things, or the amassing of all of these things, right? To compete in that, it's diverted you, it's distracted you. Now Allah Ta'ala doesn't say what is it distracted you from. You should, you would say, well, it's distracted you from whatever. But Allah Ta'ala doesn't say that. And so what that means is there's a couple of things. First of all, Allah Ta'ala is inviting us to say, to think for ourselves, what do you think is distracted you from? Like, you don't need to, like, Allah Ta'ala is like inviting you to use your intellect. What do you think that all of this has distracted you from? From Allah, right? From the truth, okay? From looking at yourself and looking at your purpose in life. That's what it's distracted you from. But Allah Ta'ala doesn't specifically say that. And sometimes when Allah Ta'ala doesn't specifically say something, what that means is it's trying to kind of like make you, it's like an absolute meaning, right? Not only you need to think for yourself, but also because Allah Ta'ala doesn't say what it specifically distracts you from, it means everything. So all of this amassing is just distracted you from absolutely everything. That's the point. And that's why you find like some people who they're so obsessed in making money, they don't even think about anything else, right? Like I remember when I went to, I had this work experience, well, not work experience. When I went to this barrister's chamber in Birmingham once, and like met this one person, and he was like, like making loads of money, right? Like hundreds and thousands of pounds, right? But working 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. Never went to children's parents' evening. Missing like children's performance at like school concert and school this and school that. Just amassing so much dunya, right? And this is what this does, right? When you're so engaged in getting more and more and more and more and more, you forget everything. And that's one of the things that Allah Ta'ala is saying here. What's it diverted you from? He doesn't actually explain what specifically is diverted you from, meaning everything. Your whole life, your family life, your deen, right? Your health, right? That's what it does. Okay. So Allah Ta'ala also says in Surah Al Adiyat, so he says, وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ, that indeed his love for it, meaning the person, his extreme love for the khair, meaning wealth, lashadid, it's extreme. Okay, it's extreme. So the point here is that Allah Ta'ala is telling us that when we are kind of engaging in this dunya and having all of this money, right, and vying to get more and more and more, this is the thing that is distracting us. Okay. He then says, Hatta zurtum al-maqabir, until you visit the graves. Now this word zur, it comes from the verb zara, and like we commonly will know this comes from like a root meaning of ziyara, which means to visit. But actually, more deeper than that, means to temporarily visit something. Okay, like when you have a visit, you don't just you go visit someone, you sit there. That's called migration. You move somewhere. But zurtum, this means that you just temporarily visit. The ancient Arabs used to use the word zara to connote a hug. When you hug someone, you hug them for like what, 2-3 seconds, and then you stop in it. So here, hatta zurtum al maqabir, until you visit the graves. So Allah Ta'ala is saying here that the issue of the graves, first of all, it's temporary. You're not going to be in the grave for long. It's just an intermediary between this life and the qiyamah. So that's why he uses this word zurtum. Okay? Whereas in reality, Allah Ta'ala could say, until you sit in your grave, until you lie in your grave, until you live in your grave. Allah Ta'ala says until you just visit your grave. So there's two meanings here. First of all, Allah Ta'ala is saying here that you are so obsessed with this competition to get more and more money that it's just distracted you. Hatta zurtumul maqabir, up until the point where you just end up in your grave. That's all that's going to happen, right? That you constantly, you lose your focus, all right, and until it's too late when you die. And also, interestingly, that even people see maqabir here. Maqabir is the plural of maqbara, which means a place where a person is buried. I.e., where is a person buried? Grave, right? Maqabir is plural, meaning graves. Now, what people would do, like in ancient times, they would actually show off about those people who have died. So they would go to graves and say, "Oh yeah, this person, you haven't got anybody like him, and this person, oh you haven't got anybody like him." Like they would even show off to that level, not just the things that they have alive and in their hands, but even those people who are dead. Yeah, hatta zurtumul maqabir, even those in the graves. You're like, that person, we got that person, he's from our tribe. We got that person, he's from our tribe. Like this obsession with pride. That's what has diverted these people. We ask Allah for protection. He then says, كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ ثُمَّ كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. No, you will eventually know. Again, no way. You will eventually know. Okay? So this kalla is translated as nay. Yeah, meaning that no, but in reality. It's like, for example, like if you say like oh, I like my Lahore restaurant, right? And a person goes, nah, like that. Yeah, like you mean yeah, right? That's the point. Like it's a no, but it's like a almost like an exclamation. Also, the Arabs would use kalla when it means stop. Like it would mean to stop. Like kalla, stop. Stop what you're doing. Stop this amassing of increase of this worldly wealth. Stop. Sawfa ta'lamun. You will find out. You will find out what happens. You will realize what you're doing. Where are you going? Summa kalla sawfa ta'lamun. Again, summa means again, you will realize what happens. You will realize. Sawfa means in the future tense. Yeah? Like you will find out. If you don't realize now, you will eventually realize. You will eventually realize. Like what happens? Like you often try to kind of like advise people. You need to sort your life out, man. You need to pray. You need to think. Otherwise, you're gonna die one day, and then what you're gonna do. And for many people, like for some people, they listen. Some people are just one ear out the other. They don't even think about it. It doesn't affect them. So Allah Ta'ala is talking about those people. كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. You will find out. If you don't think it's anything special, سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. You'll find out about it. You will realize. And that's interesting because one of the Sahaba, Ali bin Abi Talib, radiallahu anh, he said, النَّاسُ نِيَامٌ فَإِذَا مَاتُوا انْتَبَهُوا. That people are asleep, but when they die, that's when they wake up. Okay? Meaning that's when they realize, oh, now I get it. But it's too late then, isn't it? It's too late then, right? It's too late. Some of the ulama say that the first, ayah number 3, kalla sawfa ta'lamun, it relates to a person when they enter their grave. So both of these ayahs relate to after death. So after death, you enter your grave and the angels, Munkar and Nakir come, sawfa ta'lamun. Then you realize, oh my God, what have I done? What was all this takathur that distracted me? Okay? And then ثُمَّ كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. The ayah number 4 is when you're gonna go out the grave, i.e. Qiyamah. That's the second one. Then you realize even more, oh my gosh, I'm actually now being resurrected, like Allah's gonna take me to account. So it's realization after realization. Okay. And so what's interesting here, like كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون. Like the Quran, like what originally the Quran, right? Like it wasn't written on pages. Okay. How was it kind of like spread? Like people heard it and they memorized it. So the most Quran is more powerful, not when it's read, but when it's listened to. Because when it listens to it, it affects you. Like you can read Kalla Sawfa Ta'lamun, Thumma Kalla Sawfa. But if you hear Kalla Sawfa Ta'lamun, Thumma Kalla Sawfa Ta'lamun, like it's like, it's like, you're gonna find out, you will find out. Like it's like, when someone's like, having a, like scolding you or kind of like telling you, like it's more powerful when it's heard, as opposed to someone sending you a text. You understand? Like that's how we can, that's how we can understand it, right? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kind of like protect us. One of the things interesting here is, in the previous in the previous surah, Surah Al Qari'ah, Allah speaks in the third person. They are those people, the one whose scales is heavy. They're going to enter into the Hamiyah. What is the Hamiyah? Narullahi. Yeah, the Narun Hamiyah. Okay? But this is talking in the second person. You, right? This takathur, this yearning for increase, this has distracted you until you get to the graves. You will find out. Then again, no, you will find out. Okay? And that's more powerful because when it's directed at you, like when you're listening to this or when you're reading it, you're like, this is really talking to me. And so Allah Ta'ala, He will change the tense sometimes to kind of wake people up. To wake people up a little bit. Yeah. Allah Ta'ala then says, كَلَّا لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عِلْمَ الْيَقِينِ كَلَّا لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عِلْمَ الْيَقِينِ. Okay? No, if you only knew the knowledge of certainty. Okay? عِلْمَ الْيَقِينِ, the knowledge of certainty. So here, كَلَّا again, like no, like stop, wait, right? لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عِلْمَ الْيَقِينِ. Low here is like if only. It's like a regret. Like you people, you ended up here. If only you just use the knowledge of certainty. So what does this mean? First of all, what is yaqeen? Yaqeen we translate as certainty. What is this though? This is a solid conviction that a person has that they're totally convinced about. Totally 100% convinced that is true. Like if, for example, like the sky is blue. How do you know the sky is blue? Like, would you have any doubt about that? No? You know 100% categorically, right? The sky is blue. That's yaqeen. That's yaqeen. Like you're so sure about it, you would never doubt it. Knowledge is different though. Knowledge you might have, but then your knowledge might change, or you might have knowledge of something, but then afterwards you realize actually, no, I'm not sure. Yeah. Or you're like, you have knowledge of something, and then afterwards you're corrected. No, that was wrong. Right? Whereas yaqeen, you have no doubt about it whatsoever. Okay. Like, give me an example of something you have no doubt about whatsoever. What's going to happen to us? What's going to happen? Yeah, we're going to die. We have certainty that we're going to die, isn't it? Every human being, Muslim, non-Muslim, male, female, black, white, they all have certainty we're going to die. Everyone has that, right? So that's that. Now, there's 3 types of yaqeen, and I'll give an example of it. There's one type of yaqeen which is mentioned here, ilm al-yaqeen. Ilm al-yaqeen, okay? So an example is that if you see smoke, what does that mean? What's happened? There's been a fire. Now, how do you know that? Because you know that when there's a fire, there's smoke. That's something you have knowledge of. So that's known as ilm al-yaqeen, knowledge of certainty. So if there's smoke, you're certain that there must have been a fire. Or if you see the grass is wet, What does that mean? It's rained. Yeah, you have certainty it's rain because you know that the rain is wet. Okay, and then you see the slabs that they're all dark. That means it must have rained. That's because you have knowledge. Okay, then you have something called ayn al yaqeen. Okay, which is certainty by sight. So the first one was what? Ilm al yaqeen, certainty by knowledge. The second one is ayn al yaqeen, which is certainty by sight. So what is the certainty by sight? You actually see the fire. You see the fire, yeah, or you see the rain. Then like you physically, you visually seen it. So therefore your certainty is cemented. And then there's a higher reality which is called haqqul yaqeen, which is certainty based on truth. So what is that? Is that you experienced fire, like you know what fire does, like maybe like you've burned something with fire yourself, and you see the smoke, so you've actually felt that, yeah. Or you stood in the rain and you've seen what it does. It makes you wet. You understand? And so that's haqqul yaqeen. So you have ilm al yaqeen, which is knowledge based, ayn al yaqeen, which is visual based, and haqqul yaqeen, which is conviction, like truth based. Okay. In this world, we are given ilm al yaqeen and haqqul yaqeen. Okay. So we are given, like, with respect to the akhirah, with respect to the punishment of Allah, with respect to the day of judgment and the heaven and the hell and all these things, we are given ilmul yaqeen. Okay, knowledge. We've given knowledge of that. Allah Ta'ala has told us. And haqqul yaqeen, the reality of it. Like, we are built on a purpose, we're going to die one day. We haven't seen it though. Have we seen paradise? Have we seen hellfire? No. Why? Because, and that's why, like, some people, all they want is they just want to see it. Like, like some people say, well, how is there a God? Because you can't even see him. No. But what you have to realize is, like, even an animal is convinced by ainul yaqeen, which is certainty by sight. Allah Ta'ala is saying, look, no, you guys are special. I've given you an intellect. I've given you aql. Use your brain and come to the logical, knowledge-based conclusion of certainty. Do you understand? Allah Ta'ala is saying here, like, it's not about seeing it. Although Allah Ta'ala will eventually speak about ayn al-yaqeen, right? But for now, what He's inviting us to here is for us to think about, like, knowledge. Like, what is Allah Ta'ala saying here? This earth, it's temporal. You have money in your hand one day, the next day is gone. Okay? Think about that. Use your intellect. Realize that you're going to die one day. That's something that you know. You have knowledge of that. You have ilm al-yaqeen. You have knowledge of that. One day you are going to die. So you need to be ready for that. You have to be ready for that, right? And so that's what Allah Ta'ala is saying here. So this, لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عِلْمَ الْيَقِينِ, if you knew the knowledge of certainty, i.e. if you knew about the knowledge of the fact that you're going to die, what's going to happen? لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ, and you will see the blazing fire. So basically Allah Ta'ala is saying, like, if you realized, right, if you knew, use your intellect and stop saying, well, I don't believe it because I can't see it. No, if you just realize, use your intellect, you're going to die, and Allah Ta'ala is going to take you to account. Allah Ta'ala is going to wake you up from your sleep in your grave. All right. Man ba'athana min marqadina hadha, who has brought us from this sleeping place of ours. Once you realize that, okay, then you will get to a state where you will then you will realize what this distraction, this takathur that you've been, extreme amounts of wealth that you've been vying with each other to obtain, right? That you'll realize that's been a distraction for you, for the higher purpose, for Allah Ta'ala, right? لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ, surely you shall see the blazing fire. You will see the jahim. So jahim, jim ha mim, one of the root words is juham. You know what juham is? Juham is when a lion is staring at its prey. What does the prey do? Stops, right? It's just scared. So this is like what's going to happen to these people because the takathur, because this vying and rivalry and obtaining all this worldly increase distracted them, right, all the way up until they got to their graves. What's going to happen to these people? They will see the fire, and the fire will be looking at them like a lion is looking at its prey. That's what this fire will do. It will it will look at the people like, in that way. Allah Ta'ala, He says in Surah Maryam, وَإِن مِّنكُمْ إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا كَانَ عَلَى رَبِّكَ حَتْمًا مَقْضِيًّا. Okay, there is not one of you but will pass over the fire. Every single person will pass over. Every single person will pass over the fire. Every single person will see it. Everyone will see it. Even believers will see the hellfire. Everyone will see the hellfire. This is with your Lord, okay? A decree which must be accomplished. Everyone will see the hellfire, okay? ثُمَّ نُنَجِّي الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا وَنَذَرُ الظَّالِمِينَ فِيهَا جِثِيًّا. Then we will save those who feared Allah. We will save those people who had taqwa of Allah and realized that this world is not everything, right? It's not the be all and end all. They will realize, you know what? There's more to life than just having loads of money and amassing all of these great things. And Allah Ta'ala will save those people who realize that. And وَنَذَرُ الظَّالِمِينَ فِيهَا جِثِيًّا. And Allah Ta'ala will just leave those people who are wrongdoers. Okay? And they will be left on their knees. Like, oh, what a mistake we made. See how Allah Ta'ala graphically speaks about that? And so the powerful thing here is you and me will see that. We will see the hellfire. Like Allah Ta'ala will show it to us. Yeah, we have to wake up to that, right? We have to wake up that, Allah Ta'ala will show us that. Okay? ثُمَّ لَتَرَوُنَّهَا عَيْنَ الْيَقِينِ. So now, what was the one before? Ilm al-yaqeen. Now he's saying Ayn al-yaqeen. So Allah Ta'ala is saying now, once you see that Jahim, once you see that hellfire which is looking at you like a lion staring at its prey, then what have you seen? The Ayn al-yaqeen. The certainty with the sight. Now, what did we say? In this earth, you don't see the hellfire. You don't see the heaven. But Allah Ta'ala is inviting you to believe in Him with your intellect, right? And with your attachment to the truth, haqq al-yaqeen, right? With that yearning. Now, we can't see that, right? And there's those people, as we know, who in this earth, all they do is, oh, I can't see it, so I don't believe in it. And that at that point, when it's too late, when they see the hellfire, at that point, then you realize. Why? Because you'll be seeing it. You'll see the thing there. You're using your ayn now. You're using your eyes. You're using your sight. That's the point. But then, it's too late, isn't it? Then it's too late. Then it is too late. And those people who wanted that proof, those who were like, oh, I can't see it, so I'm not going to believe in it. Well, there you go now. You're going to see it. You're going to see it, but it's too late then. It's too late then. Okay? Allah Ta'ala then He concludes, ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. Okay? Then certainly you will be asked on that day about the comforts, about the blessings. Then certainly you will be asked on that day about the comforts, about the blessings. Okay? What this means is that these things that we have been given in life, okay, these things that we've been given in life, we will be asked about it. Now, there's a couple of things that we need to think about. First and foremost, you see, when someone reads this kind of surah, they're like, okay, well, let's just forget making any money and let's just forget it because, all this, wanting things is a problem. No. Having wealth is not a bad thing, but that doesn't mean it's a good thing either, right? Having loads of things is not a good thing. And this is the delusion that people have, right? That having loads of things, oh, that's a good thing. Or conversely, it's a bad thing. What it is, it's a na'im, it's a blessing, and it's a test. What does Allah Ta'ala say in Surah Kahf? The inna ja'alna ma 'ala al-ardi zinatan laha linabluwahum ayyuhum ahsanu amala. That we have made that which is on the earth a zina, something pleasurable, an adornment. Linabluwahum, to test them, ayyuhum ahsanu amala, which is the best of them in good action. Okay, and this is important. This is important, right? That's the whole purpose of this dunya, right? Everything that's all this wealth that we amass, it's a test. Like, the more you have, the more you're going to be asked about, right? So people think, oh yeah, I want to have loads of money. No, that's the more you're going to be asked about. And so, and another misconception one is that it's good to have lots. The second misconception is that if that people erroneously believe that the more you have, that means Allah loves you more. Wrong. That's not right. Look at Pharaoh. Pharaoh had everything, palaces and the entire kingdom under him. He was destroyed. All right. And then look at Ibrahim alayhi salam, who they kicked him out of his city and he was homeless. But he is the friend of Allah, the Khalil of Allah. So it doesn't matter. Like, just because you have more doesn't mean Allah Ta'ala loves you more. That's the second deception that man has, right? That a person's poor, he's not got a job, Allah Ta'ala doesn't love him. No way at all, right? So we have to realize that everything that we are being given, it's a test. It's a test. Now, a clever human being will realize that he does not want to stand in front of Allah. That's what our teachers would say. Like, a clever human being does not want to have a hisab. That's why also dua that we make, Allahumma hasibna hisaban yasira. Wallah, make our hisab easy, like quick. In fact, if anything, no hisab. Because there's nothing more difficult than standing in front of Allah. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Laysa ahadun yuhasibu yawm al-qiyamah illa halak." There's no person who is going to be made accountable on the day of judgment except that he's destroyed. Right? So, but the more you have, the more you're answerable about. Right? So, what that means is that doesn't mean that you don't have wealth. Of course, you have wealth, but be prepared to be questioned about it. And the greatest state is that, okay, you have money, be prepared to lose it tomorrow. That's when you know that it's not something that diverts you. If you have a yearning for it, you can't, you want it, you don't want it to go away. That's a sign that it's diverted you from the higher path. That's the point. Okay, like we think of there's two things here. The issue of hisab, like I said, the more you have, the more things you buy, the more things that you have, the more you're going to be asked about. The two questions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, preliminary question that Allah ta'ala is going to ask us Yawm al-Qiyamah. The first one Allah ta'ala is going to ask about is our prayer. Did we pray or not? What was the state of our prayer? Another one of the questions that Allah ta'ala is going to ask us, where did you get your wealth from? Through what means did you attain your wealth? And the second question attached to that, where did you spend it? Okay, we are going to be asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for every single penny that we attained and we spent. Okay, that's the one thing. So therefore, a clever human being will assume, well, I don't want to have all this. I don't want all this. Okay. Another interesting thing is this issue of min husn al-Islam al-mar'i tarkuhu ma la ya'ni. That from the beauty of a person's Islam, he doesn't get involved in that which doesn't concern him. Example. Let's say you are we do this often. We just want to find out about other people's information. What's happened here? Okay, what's this? You see someone and you're like, oh, you call this person. What happened? Those sound bites that you have, maybe those texts that you do or those phone calls that you make. If you didn't do that, Allah Ta'ala wouldn't ask you about it. But now that you've got involved in that, that means that your standing in front of Allah has increased. Because then, you've got to have to answer for more. Allah's going to say, well, why did you get involved in that for? It has nothing to do with you. Why did you start asking about Fulan and what he was doing or what he looked like? It has nothing to do with you. But because we wasted our time and got involved in that which doesn't concern us, now we're being prolonged our standing in front of Yawm al-Qiyamah. Now think about how many times we've engaged in things that are not even our business. That makes our standing extremely long in Qiyamah. We don't want that. Yeah, as the Prophet said, anybody who's given hisab, Allah halak, is destruction, because it becomes harder and harder. And who's going to advocate on your behalf, right? Like you sin, no one's going to come help you, no one's going to come save you, right? May Allah protect us. May Allah protect us. Okay, so the ultimate goal is, as I mentioned, is to have wealth but to deem it insignificant. It doesn't matter. And that's the greatest test is when you have less money. How do you feel? Right? And if you feel pain, oh my, why? That's a sign that this has takathur al-haq. That's what it's done. It's distracted you. We have to wake up to realize what is our purpose in life. Our purpose in life is enslaving ourselves to Allah, and realize that we're all going to die. This is not going to be anything, right? It's not going to be anything. It mentions here, ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. Then you will be asked on that day about the na'im, about the blessing. So, a couple of things. First of all, na'im, the blessing. When we realize that all of these things that Allah Ta'ala has given us, we're going to be questioned about it. That should make us realize that, okay, this will be an opportunity for me to get closer to Allah Ta'ala through it. Okay, so let's say Allah Ta'ala, you buy a laptop. So Allah Ta'ala is going to ask you now, what do you do on your laptop? So if you realize that Allah Ta'ala is now going to ask me about this laptop, I better use it for good. Because then when He asks me, then I'll say, well, Ya Allah, I did it for what, learning about your deen and to propagate it, and etc. etc. You know what I mean? Or if you buy a TV, or if you buy a phone, or if you buy whatever, every single thing, like if you think about every single thing that you buy, Allah's going to ask you about it. So when a person realizes that, then you think, okay, this is an opportunity for me to get closer to Allah Ta'ala through it. So that's when you make your adah into ibadah. So your other things, the normal things, you make it into a source of ibadah by realizing that I'm going to be questioned as a result of this, me buying it. So a transaction is very, very powerful. We just think, nowadays, Amazon Prime, bang, one button, gone, finished, is here the next day. Like it's gone so fast, but actually, like spiritually, it's a big thing, because Allah Ta'ala is giving you the tawfiq to take that money. Allah Ta'ala is giving you the tawfiq to buy it, and Allah Ta'ala is going to give you the tawfiq to hold that thing. As soon as it hits your hand, that's it. Your hisab starts. We should think about that, like all the things that we buy, like what are we doing with them? Like that will also make us kind of like waste less then, because you realize, do I really need this? Am I prepared to stand in front of Allah for this now? Right? A lot of people, they end up hoarding things. Well, why? Why hoard all this? Allah doesn't ask you about every single thing. So you start, decluttering and give it all to charity. Yeah. Another thing is, interesting story. We finish on this. The Prophet ﷺ, one day he hadn't eaten for a couple of days. He was really hungry, and then Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radhiallahu anhu, he comes in, and he can see from his face he's extremely hungry. And then Hazrat Umar radhiallahu anhu, he comes in, and he's likewise, you can tell by his face, really hungry. And they're like, we need something to eat. We haven't eaten for quite a few days. So then they go to a Sahabi who they know he's quite wealthy. They go and they knock on his door and they say, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum. The Prophet saying, Assalamu alaikum, anybody there? And no one's responding. Eventually they open the door, right? The wife opens the door. I think the Sahaba had gone out. She opens the door and she gives them some food. She gives them a little bit of water and some dates. And the Prophet ﷺ says, this is the na'im we're going to be asked about. These small things. Now the Prophet said that about what? Some water and some dates. Look, think about us with the huge banquets and food that we eat, and the houses that we live in, and the comfortable beds that we sleep in, and all of this, right? All of this that we have, okay? Allah doesn't ask us about it. Allah doesn't ask us about it, right? So, we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us realize that everything that He's given to us is a blessing. You see, one of the things is, when this is being given to us, it's not ours. When something is given to you, that doesn't mean that you originally own it. It means being given to you. And just as it's given to you, it can be snatched from you as well. And so when something is given to you, then you have to realize that this is a blessing. It's a blessing from Allah. Okay. In addition to that, na'im with a ya, noon, and ya, that ya in the middle, that suggests permanent blessings. Those things that are constant that we often don't think about. Like, for example, you go to the tap and you put the tap on. You don't even think, right? There's people out there who are dying because they haven't got water. And we open the tap and it comes out straight. So Allah Ta'ala is inviting us to those blessings that we are often heedless of, or we take for granted, like running water, like heat. You just put the heater on and the heater comes on straight away. Health, we don't even think about health. We're breathing fine, we're seeing fine, we're walking fine. So Allah Ta'ala is inviting us to remember that these things, these blessings that you've been given, you're going to be asked. La tus'alunna. That the verb is actually tus'al, but Allah Ta'ala puts a lam at the front and He puts two noons at the end, which means like definitely you will be definitely asked. How many definitelys? Definitely, you will definitely be asked. 3. So that lam is 1 definitely, and the noon is 2. There's 2 noons there. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, you will be asked, you will be asked, you will be asked on that day about the blessings, those constant blessings that you're often heedless about. Okay? So to finish off, like one of the munasabah points, one of the points that we take, one of the beautiful miracles of the Quran, every single surah, the first ayah or the first few ayahs and the last few ayahs, they always connect. Every single surah. Every single surah, the first and the last ayahs, they always have a deeper connection. So here, what does Allah Ta'ala say? Al-Hakum at-Takathur. Okay, and it's a point we already kind of mentioned. Al-Hakum at-Takathur, the want for worldly increase has distracted you. Okay, then what does he say at the end? Tus'aluna yawma idin an na'im. You will be asked about the blessings. So, yes, you yearn to have lots of wealth. Yes, you are vying for all of this. But remember, don't forget, you'll be asked about it. And when you remember that you're going to be asked about it, it might be that it doesn't distract you anymore, but rather it pushes you on the track towards Allah, rather than diverting you off. Okay? This is Surah Al Takathur. Okay? Any questions? No? Any questions? Right, okay. Jazakumullah khair, inshallah. We will go through Surah Al Qari'ah next time. Jazakumullah khair. Wa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.